A House hearing exploded into a fiery shouting match Tuesday, as Reps. Val Demings and Jim Jordan sparred over supporting law enforcement during a debate on a hate crimes bill. Jordan, R. Ohio, tried to introduce an amendment to the legislation during the House Judiciary Committee meeting that would prevent defunding of police departments, a measure Demings, D-Fla, called completely irrelevant. The two then began trading barbs, with Demings lambasting Republicans, claiming they did not support police amid the January 6 Capitol riot, and Jordan charging the same of the other side amid the racial justice riots in the summer of 2020. "I served as a law enforcement officer for 27 years, said Demings, the former police chief of Orlando. "It is a tough job, and good police officers deserve your support. You know, it's interesting to see my colleagues on the other side of the aisle support the police when it is politically convenient to do so." At that point, Jordan tried to interrupt Demings, who quickly cut him off. "I have the floor, Mr. Jordan," she shouted. "What? Did I strike a nerve? Law enforcement officers deserve better than to be utilized as pawns, and you and your colleagues should be ashamed of yourselves," Demings added, slamming her fist on the table and pointing at Jordan. Committee Chairman Jerrold Nadler, DNY, quickly tried to restore order. "I want to admonish members, they must not interrupt someone who has the time. You can't shout out," an exasperated Nadler said. Jordan replied, "I agree." But Demings shot back, "Mr. Jordan, you don't know what the heck you're talking about. You know nothing about law enforcement officers. I know about my motives." Jordan responded, "You are using them as pawns because it serves your ridiculous political purpose." Demings added. Two lawmakers continued to shout over each other until Nadler broke in once again. "The rules do not permit shouting out when someone else has the time. The only thing you may do when someone else has the time, you may raise a point of order," he said. When Demings spoke again, she railed at Republicans for not condemning the violence during the Capitol riot. "I'm glad to hear that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are on the side of law enforcement now, because I don't know where my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have been over the last 4 years, including on January 6. Hen police officers who protect us every day were fighting for their LI vests because of the big lie that was told, and my colleagues on the other side of the aisle were silent," she said. Demings said Democrats showed their support for police when they voted for the coronavirus relief bill that increased funding for state and local governments and law enforcement. She said Republicans now back law enforcement through Jordan's amendment. "I'm delighted to know that, but don't support them when it's politically convenient for you to do so.